What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So with today being a Friday, I want to do my weekly Trading212 portfolio update. Now this week there's been quite a lot of activity. I invested a few €100 more into my portfolio. I also got two brand new stocks added to my portfolio, which now has 33 holdings. We also had some of my current holdings go up and down in value, which posed great opportunities to dollar cost average this week and the weeks going on. And also we'll have a look at how my overall portfolio is doing as well. And with all that being said, let's dive right on over to Trading212. As it stands, we currently have €9,126 in my portfolio. 8,977 of that is currently invested, and we're up €1,283 or 16.7%. And we also have €150 in free funds as well. Now that €9,126 for my US viewers, if I just check my phone, it's 11,050 USD, or for my UK viewers, it's £7,940. We can see on the 1 week chart here on the left, we can see the dips, but when the dips came, you can see that it went back up in value, and that was mainly because I invested further capital to dollar cost average. So even on, let's say, Wednesday here, it dipped, and then you can see the pump here, which was my extra capital I invested. Same here on Thursday, and even some this morning as well. So now we'll have a look through what I bought this week on Trading212. At the start of this week, I deposited a further 340 or so euro, and now so far this week we invested a further 180 or 190 euro. And on the 26th, we bought two stocks in the form of Nike and HighTide. We got 18.9 shares of HighTide for €8, and also we got 0.27% of a share of Nike for €30 as well. And with most of these positions or investing, it's kind of the dollar cost average, so each of these was a buying opportunity in my opinion at cheaper prices if the stock was currently in the red, so that's why I bought more. We can see then on the 27th, we bought another €20 of Nike and €20 of the iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, again to dollar cost average down and get a cheaper overall price. We then bought another €20 of HighTide, similar circumstances here. And then we bought two brand new stocks in the material sector in the form of first Majestic silver and Barrick gold. Again, just a very small position here to start off, €20 in each. And then on the 28th, we invested a further €50 of my capital. Again, just a dollar cost average in. We can see here first Majestic silver and Barrick gold, again €10 or 9.99 into each. And that was the dollar cost average because the second I bought the €20 in each, it kind of went down in value, which shows the importance of slowly drip feeding funds in. So then we got a cheaper overall cost by adding that €10 in for each. We then bought a further €10 of Nike, €10 of my iShares ETF, and €10 of HighTide. As stated, we now have 33 holdings in my overall portfolio, and I want to cap it at 35, which leaves room for two more. Now I did say in prior videos that I wanted to focus on materials, utilities, and real estate, as I was really lacking in those three sectors. Again, the two reasons was for diversification, and the second was to dollar cost average, have more opportunities there. So I'm kind of happy now with my two material pie companies, so I'm going to leave that for now. Again, we will dollar cost average in, which I'll discuss later on. But again, I don't want to add any further positions here. So I do want to start looking at utilities and real estate as well. We already have one stock in real estate sector in the form of realty income. So I'd like to add one further real estate stock here, and definitely one in utilities as well. That would definitely round up my 35 stocks then, and I can kind of focus on dollar cost averaging from there on in. We can now have a very brief look through each of my portfolio pies to see how they're performing in comparison to the other and how they're doing week on week. Now again, as we do this every week, there's no point in going into too much detail here, so I kind of just give a quick synopsis of each portfolio pie, and at the end we'll discuss some buying opportunities for going forward for next week. So we can start off with communication services pie, currently €642 invested, up 35 or 34.6%. Two holdings here, and I'm happy to keep it at two for the time being, in the form of Walt Disney, which is up 43.5%, and Facebook, which is up 27.2%. We then have one of my bigger pies in the form of consumer discretionary. We have €1,468 invested here, up 3.4%, and we have three holdings. The one that's in the green at the moment is McDonald's, up 10.8%. We have two in the red, Nike, that I discussed earlier, which I have been dollar cost averaging in over the last week or so. That was down about 3%, and it's now only down 0.7%. Again, because it's only down not even 1%, I'm going to leave that for now. If it drops further, I will invest more. But again, there's other buying opportunities in my opinion. For example, Tesla here, which now is down 4.5%. So anytime my Tesla position goes into the red, I definitely snap up more. So probably after this video, I will invest more here, as I do want to get up to the one full share. In consumer staples, we can see we have nearly €1,260 invested, up 6.5%. Three holdings here, all in the green. Now there's been many times where P&G, PepsiCo and Coke were in the red, But again, consistency is key here by adding in small amounts of money to dollar cost average and to get a cheaper overall price, and eventually you will pay dividends. We can see here Coca-Cola is up nearly 11%, PepsiCo up 8.6%, and P&G is not even up 1%, but it's green nonetheless. We then have a kind of mixed bag in my energy sector. It's up 9% at the moment, and we have €655 invested. Let's start off with the positives in the form of ExxonMobil and Chevron. ExxonMobil is up nearly 70%, 69.6%, and Chevron is up 45%, so I'm very happy with how they're doing. Now, the iShares Global Clean Energy ETF has always kind of been in the red over the last few months or weeks even. And again, there has been a big change here, which I have in the video below in the description, in the form of now it's gone from 30 holdings up to 82, which I'm all for, to be honest, because this is a kind of volatile enough sector. And also, Plug Power is no longer their main holding. Now, I've made many videos on that as well, of how Plug Power went wrong and their financial errors, etc., which had disastrous effects for the share price, and it really did drag down this ETF. But again, this ETF was down nearly 20% only a few weeks back, and it's now down 7.7%. So again, only a few days back it was down about 3%, and I did state that it's going to leave it breathe a while to see if it's going to go up or down in value, if the hype of this new kind of Plug Power being gone from the top and now 80 shares, once that kind of hype went, it will consolidate. And we can see that here, it's now after going down to 7% again. So I'm going to leave this for another few days at least, maybe 3 to 5 days, and see where it is. If it goes up in value again, well and good. If it goes down even further, we're getting in at a cheaper price. So again, if you take that kind of aspect of investing, it's a win-win in the long term. There's not much to say about my two main ETFs really. They're kind of quite simplistic and straightforward. We're up 22.8% and have €803 invested. The Vanguard SP500 is up 23.8% and the FTSE 100 is up 17.75%. Now again, I did state in prior videos that I'd like to have my ETFs, these two ETFs, about 10% of my overall portfolio. So we're nearly bang on there at the moment. Again, probably we're at about 8% or 8.5% at the moment. But again, I'm happy enough to have it close. It doesn't have to be exactly 10%, so I'm happy with how that's standing at the moment. One sector I haven't invested in at all in the last few months is the financial sector, and that's because it's been doing so well. As crazy as that sounds, so I don't really want to invest further when the stock prices go up. I only kind of wait and for the kind of dips and then buy on the dipping opportunities. So for that reason, financial was one of my highest sectors, but it's kind of dropping down at the moment in terms of my overall value because again, I haven't invested any more monetary funds. So we have just under €1,200 invested here and we're up 13.68%. Now all 5 stocks here are doing very well at the moment. Visa and MasterCard are up 18% or so each. We have JP Morgan up 57.5%, Bank of America up 67%, and then Goldman Sachs up 75%. So the financial sector is definitely my best performing sector at the moment. And again, this probably is mainly due to luck when I bought in originally. I bought in at the crash, so again, it is luck realistically. So I'm kind of happy and there's no complaints here. So I probably won't be investing anything further here at the moment unless the likes of Visa or MasterCard drop in value. But I can't really see that happening at the moment. Another pie I haven't really invested in a lot is the healthcare sector pie. Again, we probably have invested further than Johnson & Johnson a few times, albeit tiny amounts. We have 13.3% in the green and have just under €900 invested. J&J is currently up over 11%, AbbVie up 27%, and Pfizer is up 8.1%. Now again, there's not much to write home about here in terms of investing further or buying opportunities, but I'm kind of happy to hold, especially for diversification. We then have one of my smaller sector pies in the form of industrials. Not even €300 invested here, but we're up 23.95%, so I'm happy again nonetheless. And the main reason why we don't have more invested here was because they all went up in value straight away. We can see 3M is up nearly 20%, Caterpillar is up an impressive 44.6%. I wasn't really expecting that. Again, it's a pity we only have a tiny amount of money invested here, but again, it's profit nonetheless. And Waste Management is currently up 21.1%. My two new stocks in materials is Barrick Gold and First Majestic Silver, which we already stated. We only have less than €60 invested here. And we can see Barrick Gold is currently down 3% and First Majestic Silver is down 2.5%. Now this is actually good in my opinion, and that's why you start off with tiny amounts of money because you need to get in and kind of test the waters as such. And then if the price goes up or down, for example, you can see it's gone down here, this gives great opportunity to buy in even more and more shares and get it down as low as we can. The average cost will just bring this back into the green. For example, what I didn't want was to invest €20 into each of these and for them to go straight up in value, because then I wouldn't be getting in at a cheaper cost. So by going into the red, as weird as that sounds, is actually a good thing, and I will be investing further into these two stocks over the coming days. We then have my one penny stock in the form of HighTide, ticker symbol HITIF. Now in the description below, you'll find a lot of videos on this stock, a lot of detailed videos. It's currently down 9%. So this was down nearly 22% only a few days back. And again, in these videos in the description below. There's all great fundamentals and catalysts in my opinion. It's very hard to find anything wrong with that company. So even if you want to go into Google there and type in HighTide and trying to find any bad news, it's very hard to find. So in my opinion, I can't really find the logistics behind why it's down so much in value, unless it's kind of pump and dump scheme by a lot of the bigger investors. But for me, as a long-term hold, this poses great opportunities, and I will be buying in more and more shares, especially when it's down 9 to 10%. We then have my real estate pie. We only have one stock here in the form of Realty Income, up 16.7%. We only have €69 or so invested. Now I did state at the start of the video, just like materials and utilities, I do want to add one company in here. So if you have any suggestions, please comment below. It'd be great to kind of have a different few suggestions and I can look into them as well. We then have my technology pie up 27% and we have €1,440 invested. 5 stocks here, Microsoft up 20, Amazon up over 11%, Apple up 18.6%, Alphabet up 61%. Now they've had some great earning reports over the last few days, hence why it's up so much. And for such a big blue chip stock, 61% is actually an awful lot. Then IBM is up 20.6%. Now the tech sector is definitely my favorite sector, firstly in terms of my own personal interest, and also one that has huge opportunities going forward. So that's how my overall portfolio is performing this week in terms of how it's performing in terms of profit and losses, and also what I bought and new stocks that I bought also. You can see as well, in comparison to other weeks when I make my portfolio updates, there's a lot more stocks in the red than usual, which actually is very good in my opinion, because I was kind of struggling to find some of my stocks. At one stage, 30 of the 31 were in the green. So again, to have 4 or 5 different stocks in different sectors in the red at the moment, I'm actually quite happy with that, as weird as that sounds. And we have €150 to invest over the next week or so. So I'm going to definitely capitalize here, and I'll probably make a video maybe Sunday on what stocks I'm looking into and what way I'm going to go investing next week. That's pretty much it for today's video. Again, I just want to say thanks very much to everyone that has supported the channel so far and continually supporting the channel. It means a lot when you see all the comments from the regulars and even the new people as well. So thanks very much for all of that. I really appreciate it. And we can see we're currently on 1,310 subscribers, which is a lot in my opinion, for me anyway. I was only thinking we get a few hundred. But again, to have over the 1,300 mark is great in my opinion. So thanks very much for all the continued support. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Have a good weekend, and I will see y'all in tomorrow's video.